Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a new story. Now, this story happened just a few years ago, and this was specifically right on the day of the Super Bowl. Okay? Now, because this is a pretty eventful one for me at least, okay? Let me set the stage for you. I had just gotten with my new girlfriend, and things have already gone to a shitty start. Me and her were getting into arguments, and overall, it just wasn't a good relationship for either of us. But nonetheless, I had went on a tangent rant about, how we shouldn't do stuff like alcohol and whatnot, because I was in a phase where I was like, that's bad, after just doing it for a solid 3 or 4 months. But anyways, not alcohol, but weed, because at that time I got my first cart, and this is in February and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I'm just giving context. I was like, yeah, I don't want us to drink. No, that went on a strong rant. You know what I did that day? I drank, but I did that, and this day I woke up and it was the Super Bowl, and I wasn't on call with my girlfriend because at the time I was just hanging out with my family. So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna call her today. Well, not call her. I texted her obviously, but I'm just gonna have a little, me time because my family. So me, my dad, he goes out, he gets wings and stuff. He's making his wings. We're getting everything prepared, and it's about 11, 12, and I choose to go downstairs. And I said to myself, why not drink? Even though I specifically told my girlfriend at the time I shouldn't do that. And granted, when I was younger, I wasn't the best person. I made a really, really terrible mistakes, and I did a lot of things that I'm not very proud of. I'm very regretful of it. But nonetheless, um, I go downstairs, right, and I get me a drink. Now, granted, I took a pretty big gulp. It was only one. Granted, it was only one, and I'm like, you know what? That isn't that much. Can't be that much. So I wait. I'm hanging out with my dad and everything. It's going good. And we start getting our wings. And as I'm eating these wings, it starts to kick in. It starts to really, really kick in. And I'm like, damn. Well, not really, really, because it kicked in more throughout the night, but it didn't kick in that much. But I was starting to feel it, right? I was starting to get buzzed, tipsy, whatever you want to call it. And after that, I start eating my wings. And I'm just having a great time. I'm munching on wings. These, I think, were buffalo wings. I think we had uh buffalo wings, mild wings, spicy wings, and some shit like that. So we had those wings, and I was just munching on them. I was munching on them, after munching on them, my sister, hate her now. We aren't on good terms anymore. That's a different story for a different time. Me and my sister, we choose to, have a little bit of, a play fight or whatever, and we're having fun, we're laughing, ha ha ha. Everything is going good, it seems, right? Until, a little bit later, it starts to hit me, the alcohol. And as it's hitting me, I'm starting to become a little incoherent, stuff like that. Obviously it happens when you decide to drink, but nonetheless, that starts to happen. And since I'm becoming, incoherent, I'm starting to think to myself, damn, I just talked to my girlfriend about, me not drinking and stuff like that. I'm a fucking hypocrite. And, I start texting her and stuff like that. And, at first she didn't notice, which I was surprised about. She didn't notice. So I thought I was in the clear. I was still munching on my wings. I think it was like 3 or 4 p.m. at this time. Super Bowl was still going on. And, I finished my wings. I finished munching on the wings. And I decided to do whatever else. In all honesty, I actually don't remember what even happened. All I know is I did something. I did something that led up to my girlfriend finding out at the time that I drank. And she was fucking pissed. Granted, reasonably so, but she was absolutely fucking pissed. She was like on the moon. Granted, it was completely my fault because I was a dumbass. But nonetheless, this person was like, "Oh my god, I might break up with you." I was going through it, and since I was drunk, me, I was massively, massively emotional. But actually, I'm starting to realize I think I remember what happened. what had happened was, prior to this context, I think my girlfriend was figuring out that I was texting like shit. And I'm pretty sure we called, and that's when she was like, "Are you okay?" Or something along those lines, which is how she found out. But nonetheless, as this is happening, she's like, "I can't do it," and she ends the call with me. So you know what happens? Her best friend babysits me while I'm drunk. And at this time, I remember too, the vertigo was hitting me like a damn truck. I felt like I was on the fucking moon. Spinning, of course, because everything was spinning. And nonetheless, this vertigo was kicking my ass, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm dealing with it. But after 2 hours, I think I'm starting to feel a little bit better. So, you know, not just that too, my cousin also left the call. She skedaddled, so I was all alone. So imagine that, drunk and all alone. But nonetheless, as I'm feeling better, I get up out of my bed. Because, I was laying in my bed. I was bedridden. I would go into my bathroom, right? And I'm just taking a shower because I'm like, maybe that I'm going to feel better. Next thing you know, I projectile vomit straight, and I mean straight, into my goddamn bathtub. And, yeah, it wasn't a fun time. Obviously, I finished my shower and everything, and, I was like, damn, I can't believe I actually threw up in my bathtub. That was probably some of the most not crazy, but some of the most embarrassing stuff to happen. Because, I mean, come on, dude. I could have just done so much better that day. Obviously, I'm regretful of it. Wasn't a good time. And, yeah, that was that story of how I threw up in my bathtub on the Super Bowl. And, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Comment, like, and subscribe for more YouTube videos. And, let me know if you want to hear other stories. Hope you guys enjoyed. And, bye-bye.